When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we're back at it once again with another standard deck tech straight out of Final Fantasy Early Access. And this one's kinda weird and kinda cool. This one's called Downtown. And basically it was my attempt to try to go as deep as I possibly could into like a town tribal style deck. It's a ramp deck, it has some other cross-pollinated synergies in it, but the main focus is on abusing the best town payoffs, mainly the Wandering Minstrel, which is kind of ridiculous. And we had mixed results, but I still think that this deck is a very interesting brew that has a lot of potential to get even more powerful in the future. So I would love it if you guys could leave me comments down below on what you think of the deck, what you think we could do for upgrades in the future, and maybe some cards that I overlooked when brewing it. But either way, I think this deck has a ton of potential, and I'm really excited about its future. So before we dive in, please like the video. It helps me get it out to more people. It helps the channel grow, and also subscribe if you're new, because a deck tech is dropping every single day from Final Fantasy from this point moving forward. We're never going to miss a day. It's going to be pretty wild. And be sure to catch me live Monday through Friday on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming, especially on Tuesday for the launch day of Final Fantasy, doing a 12-hour marathon stream over there, starting with Sealed, doing a draft, brewing a ton of crazy standard ideas that I got while doing early access that I had to sort of just put on the back burner and really think about in the last few days, and I'm concocting some pretty crazy ideas, so I'm excited to hit the ground running. So I'll see you there, but for now, let's break down this deck. So this deck is my attempt to go as crazy and deep into the town tribal mechanic that's coming in Final Fantasy. So we have a bunch of towns in this deck, mostly dual lands. They all count as type town. We have 4 starting towns that are basically City of Brasses that only come in untapped on your first 3 turns. We're running 4 copies of Balamb Garden Seed Academy, because if you have a total of 5 towns out, including itself, you can pay just 2 mana to transform this into a 5/4 flying that crews for only 1, and every time it attacks you just draw a card. Really good town payoff. And then we have an assortment of other towns, a Windurst Federation Center, a Gongaga Reactor Town, a Gohn Town of Ruin, a couple of Zanarkand Ancient Metropolis, because it has the Lasting Faith adventure for 6 mana. You can make a 1/1 hero creature token and put a +1/+1 counter on it for each land you control. And this deck is just dumping a ton of lands into play. So first of all, we have 4 copies of the Wandering Minstrel, which is the best payoff for towns. A 1/3 legendary human bard for 2 mana in the colors of Simic. All of your lands enter untapped, so all of those tap clauses on your towns don't matter anymore. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 5 or more towns, you just make a free 2/2 every single turn. That's all colors. As if that wasn't enough, you can pay a WUBRG and 3, which is a lot, but this deck is ramping like crazy, so it's not as much as it seems. And other creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of towns you control. So this guy can just give you a ton of value, as well as making sure your towns enter untapped so that you can continue to pour out even more value. We're also running 3 copies of Travel the Overworld, because it has affinity for towns and then draws you 4 cards. Normally it costs 7, but as long as you have that key number of 5 towns in play, you're going to be able to play this for just 2 blue and draw 4, which is absolutely absurd. We're also running 3 copies of Summon Titan, 5 mana for a 7/7 reach trample. You mill 5 cards, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield on tapped on Chapter 2, except I think they'll come in untapped if you have the Wandering Minstrel, which is really cool. On Chapter 3, until end of turn, another target creature you control gains trample and gets +X/+X, where X is the number of lands you control. So this can be an absolute game ender in the right scenarios, but it's also filling up our graveyard with things we might need and bringing back a ton of lands so that we can ramp pretty effectively, which is super nice. Going back to the bottom of the curve, we have 3 Esper Origins, which will Surveil 2, gain 2 life, put some of the stuff we need in the yard. But more importantly, if we happen to get this into the yard, we can flash it back for 4. Not only do we Surveil 2, gain 2, we also get a 4/4 creature, and we reveal the top card of our library. If it's a permanent card, put it into our hand. And because we're surveilling 2 and gaining 2 life before that, we get to stack the top of our deck to make sure that it is a permanent, which is really, really nice. Chapter 2 gives us 2 green mana, so we ramp into all of the craziness that we're trying to do. And Chapter 3, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. So some more sort of end game alpha strike potential there, which is really, really cool. We've also got 3 copies of Rydia, Summoner of Mist, 2 mana 1/2, landfall ability, discard a card, draw a card, so we can get some of the things we want in the graveyard there. Also Summon, pay X, tap, return any saga with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter, and it gains haste. So bringing back our sagas, Summon Titan, and some of the other ones we're playing with Rydia seems really good. Especially because we can just discard them to draw more cards and get more value and still get them out of the graveyard for the same amount of mana, which is super nice. We're also running 4 copies of Worldsoul's Rage, 2 mana and X, deal X damage to any target, put up to X lands from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. So all of those lands that we're dumping into the graveyard, this is another way to ramp them out super quick, go super wide with towns, so that we can take advantage of all of our payoffs. Moving on to the 3-drop slot, we've got 3 Summon Fenrir. Chapter 1 finds a land and ramps us, puts it into play. Chapter 2 puts a +1/+1 counter on the next creature you play. Chapter 3 draws you a card if you control a creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power, which is super, super cool. This thing is just good because it comes down as a creature they have to contend with. You can block, you can attack, you can put pressure on the opponent while getting all of this other stuff. Being able to ramp and get a blocker out of the same 3 mana card just seems really, really good, and you can bring it back with Rydia. We've also got 2 copies of the Huntsman's Redemption. Not only does it make a 3/3 creature token, but on Chapter 2 it allows us to sack any creature to search for a creature or basic land, so it helps us find the pieces that we need. And then again on Chapter 3 it sets us up for an alpha strike with trample and +2/+2. There's a lot of that going around in this deck. We're also running 3 copies of the Weatherseed Treaty, which will also ramp us on turn 1, make a Saproling on turn 2, and then buff up something to an insane degree with the Domain ability on Chapter 3. So you're seeing a trend here, and all of these are sagas, so we can just bring them back with Rydia, which is super nice. We're also running 2 copies of Wrenn and Realmbreaker, 3 mana, 4 loyalty, fixes our mana, uptick +1, up to 1 target land becomes a 3/3 with vigilance, hexproof, and haste until end of turn, which isn't really the reason we're using it, but it's still a little bit of nice silver lining value. -2 mill 3 cards, put a permanent from among the mill cards into your hand. This is the bread and butter. We put more things into the graveyard that we want there. We get the best thing that we actually want to play in our hand. It's kind of everything that we want. If we happen to get to the emblem, we can play lands and cast permanents from our graveyard, which is pretty sick because of all the things that we're putting in the graveyard to begin with. Moving on to the 4-drop slot, we have 4 ill-timed explosions. We can draw cards off of this, we can put the things we want in the graveyard, and more importantly, if things aren't working out the way we need them to, we can wipe the board and start over, send everything to the yard, and not have to worry about getting chewed out the next turn by aggro. Moving on to the 5-drop slot, we have 3 Overlord of the Hauntwoods, because for 5 mana, it's going to come down and make a land for us. And you know we want to ramp lands in this deck, but we can also play it early for Impending 4 for just 3 mana, still get that mana ramp, still ramp into all of the crazy payoffs we're trying to. And that's the deck. We're trying to make towns work, we're trying to go as deep as we possibly can and ramp to all the insanity that comes with this type of deck, and it's super fun. It's a super fun deck. I think it still needs a little bit of tweaking, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Let's check out the games. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Wonders of the First. Wonders of the First is a brand new collectible card game similar to games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, featuring a unique action-based resource economy that helps avoid pitfalls like Mana Flood or Mana Screw, and a battlefield containing multiple realms that unlock over time as you fight for control of the stones. The first 400 card set is called Existence, and they've even partnered with Star City Games to host their competitive play tour at every single SCG-Con event starting in August. The game contains alternate borderless art variants, as well as highly sought-after limited edition numbered prints, culminating in a one-of-one stone foil. And the best part is that the developers have a community-first approach with a card database and deck builder available via Cardio, as well as a version of the game available on Tabletop Simulator, all for free. For more information, be sure to check out wondersccg.com today. That's wondersccg.com. We're gonna try and make this work. We can starting town for blue. Oh, we don't have to choose a color. It's like City of Brass. I forgot about that. I guess we play a tapped land. Let's see, Overlord of the Hauntwoods or Weatherseed Treaty. Probably the Hauntwoods is better right now. Right, you go to 16. We'll go Minstrel, Gongaga, Weatherseed Treaty, Chapter 1. Find the black. Ill-timed explosion's gonna take out our dude, which sucks. Hopeless Nightmare. Come on, 𝐏𝐞𝐬. No blocks. I'll take 2 and you take 2. Eight. We are 1 mana short. Do this. Discard 2 cards? Submit 2. We'll kill the Sage and the Blood Witch. Granted, he'll get triggers, but one turn away from all things that are good. Kill the Bloodghast. Weatherseed Treaty. Three, 4, 2, 3. So I guess we'll go like this. this.
In the tangle, I see a path to victory. Must not forget the mission.
I guess we probably want... They're all kind of good. Let's take Titan for next turn. Let's wipe his board now that the Wandering Minstrel is much bigger. We'd have to dump Titan though. It's kind of a bummer. But we'll do what we can. Play you. Trigger the thing. Make a dude. Swing for 6. He's got Pitiless Carnage, but everything's dead. Those lands. Now we got a 6/5. Everything's kind of online now. The passage is fabled. Blood Ghastly. Alright, doing Sephiroth things is enough to kill me. Doesn't seem it. We're gonna gain life from the Esper Origins. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I kind of love that. Let's do this. Surveil 2. Oh right, I forgot. I needed to keep that land on top so that I could draw it. I guess we'll do this.
A small gift.
Oof. Well, I could do another. Yeah, I guess we do this. Lots of value. And we will play Rydia. So we can use Rydia next turn to bring back Titan. Which seems pretty good. We'll sack. And I guess one of the tokens, right? Falling asleep 'cause I've been streaming for 20 hours. Hello. Swinging with the Ghastly. Drain for 1. I think he's gonna flip Sephiroth here, but I think he's not gonna be able to kill us in time. Oh wait, we don't have anybody with reach. So we are dead. That's wild, man. Wait, he didn't attack? Or was he already in post-combat? So we'll go 5 Titan. We are gonna do this. The problem is, well, I guess we don't die to death triggers until he dies to combat damage, right? Unless he blocks a first strike guy, but none of our guys have first strike. Good grief. Well then. We will keep this, try to make it work. We don't have the blue for the minstrel, which is kind of a bummer. Start with Zanarkand. 𝑠az𝑐ℎ. Oh right, this doesn't get to come in untapped. I guess we can't just strictly play with towns, right? Because we need to have an untapped land on 2 to play the minstrel so that the rest of our lands can be untapped. Well, we've got blue for the minstrel now. Guess we do this, and then this, and then discard Fenrir, because we can still play it from the yard with Rydia. Mono green chocos. Very interesting. You will take 7, so that's a lot. How do you get so many counters on that thing? There's no way he had 7 landfall triggers. Oh, it doubles. So he had 4, I guess? Yeah, because of the fabled passages. I mean, I kind of want to play the minstrel. But I actually think it's going to be better if we do this. Let's find white. Discard Titan. Play Zanarkand. Discard Esper Origins. Seems pretty good to me. Swing. Well, we actually probably need to block, huh? We could have swung with haste. Doesn't make sense here. Does not compute. Someone want to do me a favor and find out the cheapest transform costs in standard on a creature. We're dead. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.